Okay, right then. Let's dive in. Today on the deep dive, we're going to unpack two really quite vital articles from the editorial section of today's newspaper. They give us some, well, pretty crucial insights into India's evolving landscape, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. There's a lot happening, both regionally and nationally.
Exactly. So we'll kick things off by exploring the fascinating political and economic journey of Tamil Nadu, and then we'll pivot to, well, what the paper calls a pressing national warning about India's gender gap.
Two very important and in some ways interconnected themes.
Definitely. So let's zoom in first on Tamil Nadu. Now, this is a state that historically has always sort of stood out, hasn't it?
It really has. It's carved out a very unique political and social identity.
Right, known for resisting those, national homogenizing forces pretty consistently.
And crucially, that distinctiveness isn't just cultural.
No, it's translated directly into, well, remarkable economic success. You look at the numbers, it's India's second largest economy.
A real powerhouse. And often cited as a beacon of inclusive growth, too.
It is. It's managed to significantly reduce poverty, which is a huge achievement.
No doubt. And for a long time, its politics were defined by that stable yet very competitive bipolar Dravidian system.
Yeah, the DMK and the AIADMK. The article mentions their different styles, assertive populism versus paternalistic populism.
That's a good way to put it. Different approaches, but both effectively drove industrialization and welfare gains over decades. Social justice, states' rights on one side, welfare and patronage on the other.
A successful formula, it seems, for quite a while.
On the surface, yes. But, despite these really impressive quantitative successes, things like school enrollment figures, healthcare access points, this Dravidian model, well, it's starting to show its own cracks.
Okay, so where are the issues?
Well, quality often lags behind quantity. You see
Yeah.
mediocre learning outcomes in education, for example. And the quality of jobs generated needs serious improvement.
So jobs exist, but maybe not the high-quality ones needed.
Precisely. And then there's the environmental cost. That unchecked industrial growth has certainly taken a toll.
Right, the ecological angle.
And this is really crucial. Despite all the rhetoric about social justice, some policies, maybe inadvertently, seem to have reinforced caste divisions.
How so?
Well, there's persistent discrimination against Dalits, which the model hasn't fully eradicated. It's a complex legacy.
And now this whole system, successful but flawed, is facing disruption.
Exactly. The big disruptor is the national ascendancy of the BJP. They don't have a strong ideological base in Tamil Nadu historically.
So they've had to be strategic.
Very strategic. They've shrewdly targeted the AIEMK's base, exploiting internal rifts, especially after Jayalalitha's passing. This has led to a kind of opportunistic alliance.
Opportunistic how?
Well, the weakened AIEDMK leverages the BJP's power at the center, while the BJP gets a foothold it couldn't achieve organically. It's more transactional than ideological, perhaps.
Interesting. And how has the DMK responded to this challenge?
Their response has been quite astute, actually. They've focused on building a robust ideological alliance.
Pulling together different groups.
Yes, bringing in parties like the Congress, the left, and significantly, the Dalit-led Viduthalai Chiruthagal Kachi, or VCK.
Why is the VCK's inclusion so significant?
Because their presence pushes for a more, let's say, comprehensive understanding of social justice, one that explicitly includes Dalit recognition and upliftment.
Acting as a corrective, maybe?
Exactly, a potential corrective to some of those historical limitations we talked about within the Dravidian movement itself. It broadens the definition of social justice.
Okay, so bringing this all together, what does this changing landscape actually mean for Tamil Nadu's future? It sounds like things are much less stable now.
That's the crux of it. The state's now navigating this new four-cornered contest. You have the two main Dravidian parties, the BJP alliance, and other emerging, sometimes charisma-driven forces.
And that fragmentation, that has real consequences.
Profound ones, potentially, especially for the economy. There's a risk this political instability could exacerbate those existing caste tensions rather than helping to resolve them.
Which could undermine their economic goals.
Absolutely. It threatens Tamil Nadu's ambition to become an upper-middle income economy. You need stability and social cohesion for that kind of sustained growth.
And it's not just internal challenges, right? The article mentioned external pressures, too.
Yes, and this is a major impediment. The central government's increasing fiscal centralization, basically, pulling more financial control towards Delhi and policies that many see as anti-federal.
So less financial economy for this state.
Precisely. Despite Tamil Nadu being such an economic engine, contributing nearly 12% to India's manufacturing GDP, it faces constraints. Things like reduced federal funding after the GST implementation and those rising surcharges, the cesses, which aren't shared with states.
So the state generates wealth, but gets less back to control its own development.
That's the concern being raised. It constrains their financial autonomy, their ability to fund their own priorities. The stakes, as the article suggests, are incredibly high, not just for Tamil Nadu's trajectory, but potentially for the future of Indian federalism itself.
Wow, okay. A lot to watch there. Right, let's shift gears now. We need to look at the second piece, a national warning sign related to India's gender gap.
Yes, the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report for 2025. And the findings are, frankly, quite sobering.
Sobering is the word. India ranks 131st out of 148 countries. That's quite low.
It is disappointingly low. And what's particularly alarming are the scores in two key areas: economic participation and opportunity, and health and survival.
Two absolute pillars for progress, you'd think.
Fundamental pillars. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these aren't just abstract rankings. They point to deep, systemic, structural failures that are actively holding back national progress.
Can you break that down a bit? Let's start with health.
Okay. On health and survival, the report highlights a persistently skewed sex ratio at birth. That indicates a strong, continuing preference for sons.
Still an issue then.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And healthy life expectancy for women is now actually lower than for men in India. That's a reversal and a major red flag.
What does that suggest?
It suggests chronic neglect. Neglect in areas like reproductive health, preventive care, nutrition. Essentially, women's basic well-being isn't being prioritized enough.
The article mentioned anemia rates too, didn't it?
Yes, and that number is staggering. Nearly 57% of Indian women aged 15-49 are anemic, according to the latest National Family Health Survey, NFHS 5.
More than half. That's
It's a massive public health crisis hiding in plain sight, really symbolizing this broader failure.
Okay, now let's look at the economic side. The participation and opportunity score was also very low.
Dismal, actually. India ranks 143rd on that specific subindex. Women are earning less than a third of what men earn for similar work.
A huge pay gap.
Huge. And female labor force participation, despite years of discussion, remains stubbornly low. Women just aren't participating in the formal economy at the rates they should be or could be.
I remember seeing projections about the economic benefits of closing this gap.
Exactly. The McKinsey Global Institute, back in 2015, projected that closing gender gaps could add something like $770 billion to India's GDP by 2025.
$770 billion. That's an enormous figure.
It's a massive potential. But the report suggests India has largely missed out on capitalizing on that incredible opportunity over the last decade.
Why? What are the barriers? It's not just about getting a job, is it?
No, it's far deeper. It's about women being grossly underrepresented in leadership and decision-making roles, which means policies often don't reflect or address their lived realities and needs.
And there's another huge factor, often invisible.
The burden of unpaid care work. This is critical. According to India's own time use survey, women perform nearly 7 times more unpaid domestic work than men. 7 times.
Cooking, cleaning, childcare, elder care.
All of it. And this vital labor remains largely invisible in our national accounting, like GDP calculations. It's also woefully undersupported by public policy, lack of affordable childcare, elder care infrastructure.
Which acts as a major drag on women's ability to participate in paid work, or even just have time for themselves.
Absolutely. It limits their time, their agency, their choices. And this isn't just a social issue anymore. India is at a really significant demographic turning point.
How so?
Our population is aging. The share of senior citizens is projected to nearly double by 2050. At the same time, fertility rates have fallen below replacement level.
Meaning fewer young people entering the workforce relative to older people.
Exactly. A shrinking working age population and rising care needs for the elderly. So in this specific demographic context, ensuring women are healthy, educated, supported, and economically active. It's no longer just a matter of rights, though it absolutely is that too.
It becomes an economic necessity.
An undeniable demographic and economic necessity. We need women's full participation to sustain growth, manage the rising dependency ratio, and care for an aging society. We literally can't afford not to.
So pulling it all together, this gender gap report, it's more than just a number, 131st.
Much more. It's a clear national warning sign.
A warning that unless India really starts treating gender equality as absolutely, not peripheral, but central to its economic strategy, its demographic future.
It risks squandering the progress, The significant gains it's worked so hard to achieve in other areas, the potential cost is
It
enormous.
really makes you think, doesn't it?
Hmm.
When you consider those statistics, nearly 60% of women anemic, the sheer scale of unpaid work, the missed economic opportunity, it underlines how much potential remains untapped and how urgent addressing these gaps really is for the nation's overall health and prosperity.
Couldn't agree more. It's fundamental.
Thank you for listening. If today's deep dive gave you something useful, consider following us on Spotify so you're the first to hear the next one. You can give suggestions by contacting on Twitter handle given in the deep dive description. We're always eager to hear what our listeners want to be informed about. We wish you a great day.